Hi guys, it's Miss Amina. So today we will learn about more complex of Python. The lesson will be about declaring functions. So before you have learned about, for example, print function, and you know from the practice that print function it's just showing the result of our code. And by today we'll learn how to create our own. So, for example, under that print function, we have some lines of code, okay, in the library of Python that we cannot see. So there are a huge lines of code which is doing some process like returning the result, like printing the result to us. And today we will look how to make the same by our own, like to create that lines inside of a function to apply some arguments into it. So first of all, we must know for what we need those functions. Like functions are making our code more accurate. For example, instead of writing some 10 or 20 lines of code, okay, but in practice we will do like instead of 3 lines or 4 lines of code, we will do something once, okay, and we'll just call by the name of function, we'll call that multiple lines of code again, okay, but only by writing the name of that function. So let's start to create our own. So here's my idle. Let me change the font size to 25, okay. So new file by Ctrl+N. Let's maximize it. Now I will save it to not get confused. Okay. To create my function, I must define it. So function creation is starting with def, and then we will write the name of the function and parentheses. After parentheses, 2 dots. Okay, and like by pressing enter we know where to start our next lines of code. So we can remove the name of leave only func, one word or just one letter, it doesn't matter. Okay, and so now I'm starting to write my lines of code that will be under my f function. So like I will do something with print, with built-in print function. For example, hello Miss Amina, okay, and print it not one time, 50 times, for example. Okay, so I can do that by loop. You have learned loops on previous lessons, so it's will look like that. So for a loop, if I wanted to make this print multiple times, doesn't matter how much, I will just do it by for I in range. Okay, so in range I will give 10 or 20, and then 2 dots. If you don't know from where to start the like next line, just make enter. Okay, press enter key and it will place the cursor in the place that you need to start your next line, and then just move there. Okay, that's all. So my function is ready, and now I will, in my code, I will just call that. Okay, if I will run, look, you can see that there is any without any argument. So if I will run, it will do the same that I gave on my inside of my function. And now I will add some arguments into my function. So arguments are the variables inside that parenthesis, okay, inside of this parenthesis. Before it was empty without no argument. Okay, but now I wanted to use them. So inside of that parenthesis, for example, now is 15. It cannot be 15. It must be some variable. Okay, for example, x or y. Okay, so everything that will go to y variable that will be saved on y variable will go to other y's used in declaring inside of that function. And now I will make my program to ask for user input for me. Like, how many lines of hello Miss Amina you wanted to print out? Okay, so I will do that by input function, build in input function. It is on library. So when I will add some integer function before input function, because I must convert that str value into the integer. I mean the text into the numbers, okay? Because for loop is working only by numbers. All that will be saved on x variable will go to y argument, and that y argument, okay, look, now I will run my program. First it will ask from me to insert something, but let's make it clear. Let's add some text, like number of lines, okay, to not get confused. And now look, it's asking for number of lines. I will give 50, and it will print out 50 times, okay? So like 50 that I gave on input, it will send into the declare not function, okay, into the y, and y will y argument will give that 50 to for loop. Now let's add one more argument, so make it 2 arguments. For example, a and b. Let's remove everything, and this one's also, and I will do something mathematical, okay? For example, a into the power of b. So firstly, I will do my inputs. Like firstly input a, then input b. You can input that 2 numbers in one line, but firstly let me show you how to do it like one by one, and then how to split them. So again, the same that I did before. Okay, let's do without any text. And here also y, integer input. So it will again convert my text into the integers. And like now, so you can see that like 2 lines of input. But now I will do that in one line, okay, x and y. I will like remove integer function. Firstly, we'll write my input function and then add some function to divide my x from y, okay, and it will be split function. This function we are oftenly used on Olympiad preparation, very often, and just call my function f, x, and y, okay. So value of x will go to a argument, value of y will go to b argument, okay, and but we must convert from text into the integer inside of declaring the function. So it will be again firstly a so you know, for mathematical operations 2 stars is power, okay. So and now I will again in my integer functions to convert them, okay. Everything is ready now, okay. I will run them by pressing F5, and now we'll give 2 look, I will give by space, okay, 4 and then space 2, and 4 into the power of 2 is 16, you know. I will continue from activity book. I'll solve 2 questions. So this question you can answer by yourself, and here we have some rule with 2 arguments. We know, so return, guys, inside of return we have used print function, and I am every time using print, not return. That's why there is not any difference. And I guess that print is better than return function. Okay, so Control plus Z. Okay, we have some flow chart of sum mapping two numbers. Okay, so two numbers, two arguments, and then some process. Okay, let's change our existing code. I will leave this line. Okay, I will not edit anything. Just for instead of two stars, I will give plus and press F5 to run 5, 7, or 6. Okay, it's 11. It's working now. Second multiplication. So the same, just well, edit this. That's all. So for mathematical operations, that star is multiplication. 5 times 7 is 35. Okay. Next, there is some turtle. You can do it by yourself. I think that it's very fun to you to do this. Okay. But look, guys, we were using input function to give values to arguments, but we can, like, here is asking from us to insert real numbers instead of giving it by input. Okay, just inside of f we will give numbers. Okay, so let's remove function call from here, and we will call our f function after running the code. Okay, so I'm running, and now I will just type in f and we'll give big numbers as arguments. Okay, like this, and press enter. Okay, so this is the result. And guys, we can do calculations also directly from the shell. So we'll just copy that, insert. So I guess that we must do it also only by menu. Okay, and divide by 235. The result is in decimal form. In Python, it's called float. Okay, so you can use shell as calculator. That's all, guys. So basically you have learned enough about functions, and all you need is just to practice, because practice makes perfect. That's why I will give you some tricks to study online all the programming language you want, not only Python. So here we are. You can download Sollearn on Google Play and App Store, also study web. Okay, so here we have not only Python 3, a lot of programming languages and other things. So let's scroll down. So guys, look, in your activity book. So in your activity book, so there is not so many things to practice to make something valuable. That's why you must practice by yourself if you wanted to gain a big and normal future. So look, here we have everything, all the topics, all the things. So here is our function. So code reuse is something that I did before, about like using the same lines of code many times. So instead of that, we are using functions now. I think my internet is so slow. That's why it's personally me. I have learned a lot of programming languages from Sollearn. I was practicing a lot. Many times I was in the top of Kyrgyzstan by Sollearn. Like, if you gain something, you must do it by yourself. Nobody will help you. Like, we will help, just help, and other you will do by yourself. So we are on functions. Some sample code. Okay, so okay, let's look for practice. So here it says fill in the blanks to define a function. Define means to create a function. Okay, that's all. So after each lesson there is a practice. So for example, it says to rearrange the code to declare a function, say hi. We must do firstly def, then okay, from here look, that print function is this print, and then we are calling the function and it says okay, that's correct. Let's move to function arguments. Here we have some sample function. So there is a big function name, and this function is adding exclamation sign after each word. Present try yourself, you can play with code. Also, what is the result of this code? Okay, so inside of 3, just insert 3, and 2 times 3 is 6. So from here, let's change this exclamation letter into the question mark. Okay, oh no, that's not that. Question marks, okay, a lot of, and run, and it will output, so you can see. Here you can also edit some code of other programming languages, for example PHP, guys, Kotlin, Python, Java, C++, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and jQuery I have learned from SoloLearn. So that's why I'm advising you as a teacher. So let's do this. So here we have 2 arguments, and just summing up, and here it says to fill in the blanks. Okay, so also easy. So these examples are much more easier that we have done before. So also here we have some model quiz. It's also like after each chapter you will like do that quiz, and at the end of the course you will gain a certificate, a real certificate, guys. So fill in the blanks, here def, here 2 dots, and return. Okay. Guys, except that practicing, I wanna give you some task to watch a video of famous blogger. Okay, just type in Dutch and Kремниевая долина, okay? The blogger's name and the Silicon Valley. And watch this video in the middle. But you can also watch this and this, but this is important. So it will give you a big information about IT sphere, about the Silicon Valley, how it works, how startups are working. So guys, good luck.